parents that are here waiting for the grade 10 courses will know this. We have a couple of options here. If you want to do choir or band, you choose just one of those, and that's an all-year operation. You can flip-flop back and forth. It's a long story. I won't go into that, but you have to select one of these, all right? They can also, if you don't like band or choir, they can go for the other four over there. They select three of those. That's a computers type course, ADST9, drama, art, and materials engineering, which has replaced woodworking in the last year or so. They check off three of them, but there's no guarantee, I would say, saying this, that you get the three you want. Sometimes kids get the fourth one they don't want, but it's a numbers game, so we hope most of them get the three that they would like.
Later on, we hope to show you on the school website there's reference to a course programming guide. And the course programming guide will actually show you more detailed descriptions of what to do with the course. So we look at it very much from like just, okay, this is the thing you need to know for course selection, but there's more detail in that course programming guide.
And here's a couple things that are off the timetable. Your kids cannot select those yet because they're by audition. So when it gets to the fall time, audition for these for morning, afternoon classes, for more advanced, band or more advanced choir. So we can't really select them because they have to audition. So I'm not sure why it's even on the screen, but it is. And here's a rundown, basically, of what your son or daughter will be doing next year in grade 9. English, math, social science, French, physics, religion, and an elective, that's the A block, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. And then the last one, the career life education. It's not really a block. We squeeze it in every couple of weeks. That was it. Wow. 10 minutes.
That's grade 9. Now we're on to 10, Mr. Sanders.
Yes, you could run away, but I think, the 9 parents probably want to hear about the 10.
Yeah.
There isn't really that much more excitement in the 10 one either. So here are the basic grade 10 courses. And they don't even select these are automatically selected for them. So there again, career health education is not a block. Now you see the next two that says composition 10 and literary studies 10. Squeeze those together and those two make up English 10. That's actually the one in the second and third, that's actually only one class, English 10. The second one would be phys ed, and then religion and science and social. So that's actually 5 blocks you're looking at right there.
And those ones are automatically chosen for you. For our school, actually, the government revamped the whole English program, and we've adjusted it to a common course style that allows what our English department thinks is more thorough coverage of what they need to survive in English and even at the post-secondary level. So we divided it into composition and literary studies, and we've chosen that option for kids, and it works really well. It's the best preparation for post-secondary for our 10s.
There's actually like 5 combos, but those are the 2 that we've chosen for English. Okay, here we go, math. Now again, these are long titles. Some kids ask me, why do I have to take 2 courses? No, those are 1 course. Like, why do I have to take Foundations of Math and then Pre-Calculus 10? Well, that's just the name of the course. It's just a long name. We call it regular math around here. Then there's another one, which is like the Enrich class that you can try to get into. And then there's workplace. Now, workplace is a whole different ballgame, okay? This will be for someone who really, really struggles with math. I mean, really struggles. We don't recommend that very many people take this course because it really cuts down on your options for later on. So what I always tell the kids is, okay, you might not be really good at Math 9. See if you can hang in there 1 more year for Math 10. And then in grade 11, you can do a different path. But the workplace one, I think currently we have 2 kids in workplace, in all of the grade 10s. we don't recommend going that way. And of course, if you're already in grade 10 math as a grade 9, you can always go to grade 11 math as well, right? And again, Miss Cameron makes these decisions based on how well the kids are doing in grade 9 math. Anybody have a question about that screen? It's only one of the very few choices you got to make. Like we're just saying, try not to get excited about workplace. Stick in the regular stream as long as you can.
Yeah, and you see how it's workplace and pre-calc, which Mr. Spanky said sounds like 2 courses, but that's because that course prepares you to either the choice you face in grade 11 to go to the foundation stream, which is a university course, but it gears you towards the arts programs at the university, or the pre-calc stream in grade 11, which is very much focused on science and engineering and university business kids, right? So that's why Mr. Spanky is saying you can handle the foundations pre-calc, give your math credit, and then you can make your decision afterwards to go to which stream fits you best. They should start it already now, but we won't until grade 11.
I have 3 kids, and my 2 sons are both tradesmen. And if they had taken workplace math, that wouldn't have been helpful at all. Even like some people like, oh, it might be for a trade. No, no, it wouldn't help. Okay, after math, we're getting into probably the French. Oh, there's the math flow chart. This is what Mr. Bowman was talking about. You want to explain to Mr. Bowman, or you want me to?
Yeah, so you see, if your sons or daughters, if they're not in grade 9 yet, you'll see that here at math 9, and then you could branch off to the workplace. As Mr. Smear just pointed out, that's small numbers, right? And it's so misnamed, right? Because PCIT, where you would figure workplace would fit, even they are looking for a higher level of math. Right? So, but it works for some kids. Right? Then you can go to the foundations pre-calc, which a lot of our students do. Right?
Almost everybody will be in that one, the second block.
Yeah, the second one. But grade 11 is when you can branch out into different streams, right? So just to think down the road and go to foundations 12, and this still puts you on, foundations still puts you on a university track, right? It still does. But you're just not saying you're going to be an engineer or you're going to be a doctor. You could be, any of the law, any of the arts stuff, you go to. So it's a really good course. I find it a little undersubscribed at the grade 11 level for us, right? The Foundations 12, like we have 1 block of Foundations 11, but 2 blocks of Foundations 12. And why does that happen? Because the kids in pre-calc 11 hit the wall, and then they decide to go to the Foundations stream. And they're like different kids, because for the first time in their life they get math. It's not easy math, it's different math. It's the type of math you would see as an art student at university. Just looking down the road a little bit there.
This will be emphasized a lot tomorrow night when the 10s are here, going into 11 and 11's going into 12, right? Oh, here we go. This is the French, the language again, and the learning strategies. Again, most people will sign up for French 10. Some might go for French 11 or French 12. And then, of course, we have kids that are not doing French and are going into the learning strategies again. And yeah, Mr. Bowman already explained the grade 9 screen about the whole benefits of being in learning strategies, getting a psych assessment thing done at the later grades.
Parents will have kids will ask, do I need a language 11 to graduate? And you say you don't. Right? That's why students can opt out of the French and go to a learning assistance, and it works out for them, right? They get the help they need to succeed in the courses. Why probably 80%, 90% of our kids take French 10 and French 11 is because it's still a basic entry requirement at SMUs. So to keep options open, kids still stay in the French stream in grade 10 and grade 11, right? Yeah. We don't offer any other languages. So unfortunately, we don't have the numbers. We've certainly thought about it.
We've tried and asked kids, and then a few kids will say Spanish, and a couple kids will say Italian. It's hard run a class with 2 kids. Oh yes, I mean, you could take another language. There are kids in our school that are doing Spanish, but not here. They wouldn't be taking it online. Oh, it would. If it's a language 11, everyone thinks you have to have French 11. It's a language 11.
So like Mandarin, that kind of thing would count, would work. If you have another language that isn't like we have a student this year who's Swedish, okay, which is a kid of language exemption for UBC, but it's not like you can get Swedish 12. So it's just an external language, so it gets him through the hoop of getting in to UBC. Right? I got to say, if you live in a bilingual country, I do think if they can handle it, it's a good idea to stay in the French stream as long as you can. Right? But now, when you go down the road, like my daughter was a science major in grade 12, she said, "Well, I won't need French 12. I don't need it anymore, so I'll take something else instead." Right? So but up until French 11, I just think it's smart to keep the options open if you can handle it.
So in the last few screens, we've got up to 7 courses now. This would be like the 8th course, which is their elective. Now, big difference, of course, their elective for grade 10, it's all year. So whatever they sign up for, they're going to be in that all year round. They choose one of these to be the 8th course. We have art, choir, band, drama, no surprises there. Media arts, that's what Mr. Brown is currently doing right now. Graphic arts, which is like the art program done more or less on the computer. Don't worry about the numbers when they say grade 11, or that all works out fine. Some of them say 10, some of them say 11. What's next? Oh, graphic production, that's a fancy new name we use now for yearbook. Now here's one we need to spend a bit of time on. It's called Technology Exploration 10. It's brand new. And we have a new tech teacher this year. We have another teacher who is now teaching something called Materials Engineering for grade 8 and for grade 9. And they decided that the kids would really benefit from this particular course in grade 10. You don't have to, but they're hoping that you take it, and when you take it, then you can go in grade 11 into robotics, the computer programming, possibly the engineering that we have. They all want the kids in grade 10 to stop off here first. This is a brand new concept. We'll see how this goes. Yes? Well, that's a very good question. Is there a limit? Well, I guess what would happen, I hope it happens like this. Let's say 40 kids sign up. So that would be like 2 classes. Now, I'm not promising there's 2 classes, but that might happen. There might be 2 classes. The worst scenario is there's only 1 class, and Mr. Bowman and I have to move 20 kids somewhere else. That's not good for us. We don't want to do any extra work if we don't have to. Yeah, we'll see. We're not sure how the numbers are going to work out. Every year is different. Some course becomes really exciting for a grade level, and other courses don't. So, but that's the key right now. They want everybody to take this before they go into grade 11 computer courses, or grade 11 robotics, or grade 11 engineering.
Yeah, it's so cool, right? Because the world's changing, very STEM related, and all that kind of stuff now. So, and we have Mr. Lau here now, who's really fired up with the program and what he can offer. But he's up the kind of requirement for the program. So instead of kids going in and sanding a guitar for a month, now they're actually doing designing and planning, and somewhat almost kind of a bit of really introductory engineering, right? So what he wants with the 10 is that give you all the basic skills to work in a woodwork room, and with a soldering iron and all that stuff, so they can move on and make it more interesting and exciting at the grade 11 and 12 level with the work that they're doing. So it's really a very cool program. Really cool idea. We'll see how it all works out, because it's a bit of a challenge in their grade 12 year to fit everything in, you know, that they want to
And
do.
even in the grade 11 year.
Grade 11 year. But I think it's the way of the world. So I think it's a good way. It's constantly changing at the post-secondary level, because I really look at what are the courses students need to get into university, and engineering is kind of on the cusp of getting fully accepted as an academic course, which seems so strange when you think how the world is now about engineering. But it is kind of changing. You know, we're leading edge, as we would say, in that. But I do think it's exciting. And a good idea for your son or daughter to get their feet wet in the course to see if that really is what they like. And then in grade 11 and 12, if they like it, they can continue with it. Like if you're into engineering, some of our kids, great course, right? Really great course. But if you're a kid, you know, when I was teaching woodwork before, because they were looking for downtime, you know, where they could relax. This is still it's got some rigor to it, right? And we're kind of figuring out our way how to offer it in a way that fits Thomas More clientele too. But it's wonderful, right? I think one of the biggest assignments he had, you know, you do things like you're changing a gas station from delivering like liquid gas into going to an electrical station that you could charge. How would you do? What would the engineering? What would that? They're doing all that stuff, which is, I think, fantastic, very exciting. Yeah.
Yes, if you go to that old woodwork room, it doesn't look like the old woodwork room anymore. A lot of stuff is gone and it's replaced with like laser cutters and what do they call those 3D printers. So a lot of new things. Pardon me? Hey, you're hogging my screen time here. Back it up. It's okay. Okay, the last couple, drafting, that's been renamed. That used to be architectural design. If you had any older kids that took architectural design, that's what drafting is. More in line with the government names. And human kinetics, which is a kind of quasi, I guess it's a science course. If any kids are interested in things like kinesiology, they might be wanting to go into that. They do sports injuries, the skeletal system, the muscular system. I'm going to tell you though, it's not for the faint of heart. It's pretty academic. Some people might say that's even harder than, you know, their Science 10 course they'd be taking next year. I'm not saying that, but some people have said it. So it's a tough course. And the last one is called Intro to Strength and Conditioning. It used to be called Fitness. So your son or daughter can do a fitness class, and yes, in theory, they could actually have a phys ed class and a fitness class in the same day. They'll be in great shape and sleeping well at night. Now those are all what they call applied skills. Well, actually, they call them ADST now, in arts education. And currently, if you want to graduate from high school, which I'm sure all you probably want for your kids, you have to have one of these on your transcript. You don't have to take any more. Grade 11, grade 12, you can. You want to fill your boots with all kinds, but you have to have at least one to graduate.
Yeah. But you get grade 10, you're done.
Grade 10, you're done. Yes. Well, currently you couldn't because of our schedule, right? I was talking to a young lady who earlier, her son has now finished grade 12 French this year. So his French days are over. Now he can take 2, but otherwise you only have 8 blocks and 7 are not mandatory, but pretty darn close to being mandatory. This is kind of like the only 8th option you have. You can do something else to your son or daughter later, but we'll explain that. Dreaded summer school. And here's off schedule. Hello, I'm sorry. Yes. Yes. Yes, now you've opened the entire summer school story. Okay, this is what I tell the kids. You know, times have changed. I would be very angry if I had to go to summer school. But it's like, you know, I'm older and almost comes home and that kind of thing, and they're going to do this outside. I can understand a lot of parents now want to put their kids into summer school. Okay, you need to go to. Well, that's good. Yeah, some of them tell me, "Oh, I'm bored. I don't do anything all summer." And I feel sad for a minute, and then they don't want to go to summer school. We've had great kids, top-notch kids, some of the best kids we've ever taught. Never took a summer school course or never took an online course. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can. Oh no, the school doesn't. Yeah, most of our kids would go to check in with the Burnaby School Board, see what they have, or the Westminster School Board. So it's you're kind of on your own. You don't have anything to do with that. Sometimes we have to give permission, papers, sign them, and then say it's okay for your son or daughter to take summer school. But that would be really the only way to get an extra, one of those ADST or arts education courses. Another question down there? Yes?
I have a question about this intro strength and conditioning.
Yes.
That's where it says later that it's in the morning before school, right? So
Yes,
you have to have PE as kind of a prerequisite?
You can't graduate from high school unless you pass PE 10.
Right.
I try to convince the people not to put the morning one on. I think there might be one boy, I think, maybe, that's doing morning fitness. Because they'd rather do it during the school day and take up one of the blocks.
My son really wanted to do, he's in grade 11, and he wanted to do PE this year, but he's also on the choirs. He couldn't quite fit it in, but I didn't know that was an option with the fitness in the morning. So can you do that next year? Grade 12? I know it's not grade 12.
Oh yes, grade 12.
Yeah.
Most of the people that are doing it are going into grade 12 or going into grade 11. Grade 10s wouldn't do it because, well, they already got to do PE.
Right.
So that's already enough. Then they got to get up early.
Yeah. Is that every day then, this course?
It's like 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's usually not an issue with grade 9s going into grade 10, but it could be done. And they're going to be doing like.
Yeah,
Well, some kids say to me, "Oh, can I take intro conditioning in the morning? And I get a spare for the rest of the day?" No. So now they got to do that, and they still got to do 8 more. So right away they go, "Oh, you forget that." That's too much
But the
work.
kids in the older grades that take that, that's actually like a course where you're getting credit for a course?
Oh, it's a full course, yes, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Now here's the off timetable stuff. Well, there's that question about the off schedule fitness, which hardly anybody takes. And like I said, I think I know one boy that's taking it.
Who teaches that course?
Currently it's Mr. Matty Atzel, nice
Okay.
guy,
Yeah.
knows this stuff. Yeah, the kids enjoy it. They don't enjoy coming here at what time? 7:15, 7:30? That's the only downside. And that's the other ones are by audition. I was like, see, it was on the grade 9 screen. The special choir and the band classes. And you can't select those yet either because, they're by audition. Next, Mr. Bowman. Oh, just a couple comments here about that technology exploration course. So those are the kind of things you could take in the future if you take that grade 10 technology exploration course. And they told us if you don't take that course, you can't take those down the road. And there's a quick rundown of a typical grade 10 schedule. English, math, social science, French, phys ed, religion, and then that one elective. That's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. On day 1, your kids get A, B, C, D, and then on day 2, they get E, F, G, H, right? Oh boy.
Now this will all be downloadable, you'll be able to see it on the website. And this is all the grad requirements that your son or daughter needs to complete by grade 10, by grade 12. I deal with the grade 12s, it's not an issue, okay? Our kids, if they take full course loads, which most of them do, they'll end up with like 100 credits, and you need 80 to graduate. And why do we do extras? Because those extras give you more options. open more doors, right? So we really push our kids with full course loads in 10 and 11 and allow them to apply for a study in grade 12. And then they see the wisdom of that, right? Because it just gives them so many more options. So this is a pretty detailed thing, but it is it basically, we hit these. We hit these things, we make sure the kids do it, we check it several times. So it's not anything that you know, you can look at it definitely, but not tonight. In your own.
Come back tomorrow night if you want.
Yeah. It's just because it's such a, our kids just hit all this stuff. The way we do course options, they get all this stuff, right? So it's more, for me, do they have the courses they need for post-secondary, right? That to me is the key.
We've been doing this for a little while, so trust us, we know what we're doing, and we make sure that the kids are in the right spot. We tell them, you gotta take a science. In grade 11, you gotta take, A math, that kind of thing. Okay, I'm a little worried about that last slide. Is that the one where you want to go over the...
Yeah, but let's talk about summer school now, and then we'll go back to that last one and show them the first one.
Okay, sure. Here's some summer school information if you want to take a second and read that. We've already started kind of answering the question a little bit.
I'd just like to weigh in a little as a senior academic counselor. So Mr. Spanish deals a lot with the junior kids, and I deal more with them at the senior level. And certainly for the last 3 or 4 years, there's been a big push on to get more courses done during the summer for kids, right? And I think that partially came from UBC. UBC about, 3 or 4 years ago said, we're looking for breadth and rigor and a tougher course load. So they basically went out, when we questioned it right away, what's going to happen? Kids are going to load up with courses thinking it's giving them a better chance to get in the door. And that's exactly what happened, right? Parents do, right? You get more courses, that's going to help you. I look at it from the other point of view, right? Remember, build up your resume in non-academic activities that will allow you to develop soft skills, leadership, service, and communication. Because schools at the same time are saying, what have you done outside of the classroom that has allowed you to be a good fit for UBC or SFU? You have to write personal profile. Well, something's got to give. You're telling them to take more courses. You're telling them to develop the soft skills. We've got stressed kids, right? Who feel, and you guys probably sense it, that constant need to get ahead. And Mr. Stanzers hinted at it, and I am a little bit older than him. Noted since grade 5. Anyways, Mr. Stanzers hinted at it. There's a time to be a kid too, right? Just to relax and to unwind and recharge your batteries. And you work at a camp, you do things, you work at a job even. You're developing skills that transcend the classroom. And I think are really come into handy when you're doing personal profiles and when you're trying to sell yourself for scholarships, right? You have to comment on that stuff. So I think I'm always a little reluctant to load up with the courses, but we mentioned a few reasons why you might want to do it, right? Like as a senior, grade 12, you like to hit 3 grade 12 sciences, right? Well, it's hard to do in our school unless you've done something during the summer. Other people who may want to take 2 electives, well, they may entertain taking social STEM to free up another elective block. There are legitimate reasons to do it, right? But don't do it just because you want to get ahead. There has to be a reason behind it. There's some kind of reason behind it.
I told the grade 10s, a lot of them come, well, I want to take summer school. I said, well, if you're going to take summer school, be careful what you want to take. Like, I don't know if I would take math 10 in summer school. Because if I was saying that, if it's a real hot summer and you're at Westminster Secondary, I'm not saying anything bad about New West, but it's a hot summer and the teacher wants to sit under a tree and drink Slurpees, and you don't maybe get a good grounding, that could come back and bite you next year, right? And the same with like a science 10. Now I teach socials 9, and it seems bad that I would say take socials 10 on summer school if you really have to. That's probably the best choice because there is no really official socials 11 doesn't really lead into anything. So even if it wasn't a great experience and maybe you didn't get the most out of it, it's not going to hurt you in the long run.
I got to say, I think the landscape is changing a It used to be that online or summer courses were a way to get higher marks, artificially high, especially in English in some courses, right, where kids' marks are always tracking in 65, 70. They do it during the summer, and all of a sudden they got a 95. So schools are paying attention to it. Post-secondaries are paying attention to where you're getting your online education. They're asking you, why did you decide to do it? And if you could justify it, that certainly is no problem. The online courses have their place. They really, really do. But if you're looking for a quick way, or think you just want to get ahead, or looking for a mark or something, that never works. So honestly, we have kids now who have taken a summer course but didn't really work at it. So now they're coming back and saying, can I retake that course in the fall? Right? So we'll talk a little bit more about that too. But Mr. Spanders was saying, application site for summer school, they open in March, April. There can't be quite a demand. The best thing to do is Google the city, Burnaby, online or summer, and those courses will come out. Whenever school, New Westminster, just Google it, and you will find it. There's no set date when they open, but usually it's around the end of March, early April. Right? So that's something, and you're on your own, but yeah, you can do it.
One last thing before we get off this topic is there's a Google form which is attached to the top of where your kids will choose courses. I already showed them, I told them all about it. I said to the kids, when you sign up, you got to sign up like you're not going to summer school. Okay? Sign up like you're not going to summer school. And if you are going to summer school, fill out this form and then we'll learn a little bit more information about you. So if you're not going to summer, fill out your course like you're not going to summer school. Fill out that form. What we'll do is we'll see a couple of spots for kids in the fall when they've completed their summer school. Some of them start doing it, and after about 2 days ago, I went out of here. They don't ever go back, so they're already registered in that course if they decide to bail on it.
Yeah, what you wanted.
What are you doing?
Go on to this, show the course selection screen.
Well, we're going to show you the screen for course selection.
But you're going to have to do it.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So we're going to show you what your students are, your kids are looking at, the actual course selection screen. And like Mr. Spanders said, that just opened on the last weekend. And so I think, what is it, John? Some grade levels, about 60 people are already chosen. Now, any choice that you make at this stage is not set in absolute stone. There's always some flexibility still, right? This really gives our admin, though, a kind of look at what the demand will be. How many blocks of material engineering do we need? That's what this will do, right? That's what this does. Is it down? Everything that we're going to do tonight, even this faux pas, which we'll probably fill it with some kind of, I don't know, this will all be on site. What I think I'm going to do is do a little a video just showing the slides. It's screencast-o-matic. It's a beautiful thing.
I have like about 50 passwords. Should we get a volunteer there? How much we do this?
If you want to do it that way.
Does anybody mind volunteering their child's name to put on the screen here?
No marks are shown. It's
No marks, no.
Oh, there, we have someone back there.
Who's that? Mr. Adams. Oh, who's that? Oh, that guy.
With that?
Here we go.
We have a volunteer.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Please spell Rodriguez again. Lucas.
This is very exciting.
No, the kids wouldn't do this. You don't see this stuff, right? Okay,
So he's going to go into his Google Classroom. Alongside his class registration, he clicks on that, and then he comes to this screen here.
Yes. Now remember, I told you a little while ago about this form for summer school. That's like, see it in this line there? So that's the one for summer school. So, okay, let's have a look at this here. See this whole top section here? That's already pre-selected. So Lucas, what math course? Now you go to the second one here. See this guy right here? You see it? I get it.
You hit the pencil, and then all the options open up. Right?
Lucas, what math course would you like to take? I try it for Rich, okay, there you go. Click it. Now, you always gotta say, okay, and then the box will pop up on the screen. You see the box there?
Yeah. Make sure you hit the OK.
Otherwise, yeah, doesn't work. And here, French. Now, Lucas he's not in learning strategy, so he can't even select it. So, you gotta be in French, Lucas.
Core French 10.
And okay, hit OK again. So that box appears. And now, I always have to point this one out here. Okay, so there's the electives. But if you look at the bottom here, you see where I'm moving this little guy around? You see there's a number 2 there? That's because they snuck 2 onto another page there. So don't forget those are there. People often say, why did you find that one? See, there's page 1. And then there's page 2. Lucas, any idea?
Media
On page 2, there you go. So some kids,
How great.
smart kid. Anyway, some kids wouldn't even have found it. Now, and it's the OK thing, and the box shows up. And here's the most important part. You see the submit button on the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here, you might go to this is additional nothing. Don't forget it. All right, we'll do what you want. If you don't hit submit, it's like you never did any of this. So goodbye. Submit. You'll get this different kind of screen, and he's done it.
Got it. Right?
Now, anytime in the next couple of weeks, this thing is open. He goes like, oh, media arts, maybe not. I'll go back in, change it, and then you have to submit it again, and then it will change. Yeah. Right. Where are you at now? Back to the slideshow. Okay, we're almost done. Like I said, I showed all the kids how to do it, so they're probably pretty good at it.
So March 4th is the deadline, and I just want to show you. There's this website here. We've done a lot of work on this, and it's on our school website. And you're going to see when you look down here, there's course selection information. So you've heard us talk about the course programming guide. The junior programming guide is there. So every course we talk about, there's a description of what that course will be like.
The junior one is for kids going into 8 and kids going into 9. Now, if you're going into 10, like a lot of people here are, then you would go for the senior book, the other one. It's like 46 pages, everything you ever wanted to know about high school.
Yeah. And we are in the process of revamping these, but we do have some screencast-o-matic. It's the best technology known to man. It's free, and you can just show it's easy for me to do. So we'll do one for you guys and the senior classes. They're 15 minutes long max. So a little less people are listening to us stumble through things. Well, me anyway. We've been pretty
Thank you.
good.
Do we have anything else to add?
I think that's it.
A few maybe general questions. Mr. Bowman and I will hang around for any individual questions you might have. Anybody have a question? Oh, yes, good question. There's a parent portal and a student portal. They're exactly the same.
So you see all this, this is tagged on to the end of the presentation. I don't want to go through all this with you tonight, because a lot of it pertains to senior classes rather than just what you guys are facing in grade 8 or 9. But if you want to get ahead and take a look, there's so many resources in here. It's phenomenal. We talk about scholarships and all that stuff. But it's all a little too far ahead
little early, I think, yes.
This site here, though, education planner, the government really advocates for this particular site. It allows you to do things like, let's say you want to be a nurse, and you type in nurse, and it will find the programs that are available in the province, and you can actually see the requirements and all that kind of stuff. It's actually got a pretty good place to start. There's all sorts of things, transition tips, budget, application tips. The government really advocates for this education planner. I gotta say, it's a good place for parents to get lost in when you read that, because there's so much information. I take you through it, but it really involves time. Right? So I kind of look at myself as like a gatekeeper and saying, this is the stuff that you need to know. But you guys certainly, yeah, you can look. It's a good site. Okay.
Anybody else? Well, thank you very much.
You must be very good.
We're very boring.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Obviously, you can hang around and ask us a couple questions. We're not going to be running to our cars right away. Thank you.
Why are you here? You're an expert. You don't need to be here. But before graduating. What?